What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. And I'm back with some more incredible guests. As you can see, I have got two guests joining me. If you're listening to this, you can go check out the YouTube and watch this in real time. My next guests are joining us actually from the Netherlands. They are the SMB Growth Ninja team. They empower SMBs and their owners to thrive, achieving wealth beyond money. Please welcome Ania and Dion Holzman. Ania and Dion, welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Like that's a I'm not used to like having two guests at one time. It's very rare. So it's like blah, blah, blah. But I love it. I love it. It adds something, it adds a little difference. So welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you for joining us all the way from the Netherlands. And I'm excited to get into this. How is it? How did it come to be that you guys became this SMB growth ninja team?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I think for me it's largely sort of my life story.
Okay.
Already from a young age onwards, I was very much focused on outperforming others.
Okay.
Grew up with a sort of within wealth, financial wealth. I thought that was my one metric of success. After uni, I had a very successful career, worked my way through the ranks really quickly. Learned a lot, decided to move to consulting, which was an even more a better suited environment for me. And I enjoyed the learning and the
Sure.
challenges there. In hindsight, although I hadn't picked up on that at that age already, I wasn't in a good relationship with my wife, unfortunately. Um, and because there were so many challenges, I literally worked 20 hours a day.
Oh, wow. Ooh,
Yeah.
burnout.
Well, heart attack before that, actually, at
Oh,
35. But always literally flying around the world, always eating, living in restaurants and hotels. So I lost about 80 pounds after my heart attack, but thought I got away with it. So I didn't
yeah.
change anything in my lifestyle. Um, but at some point, I was sort of done with the work in large corporates. I've contributed to a lot of really successful engagements and growth of companies. And I thought, well, why don't I do that for myself, self-employed, focusing on smaller countries, organizations?
Yeah.
Because what I was missing in these corporates is sort of the soul. It's you're making money for people that you don't see, and it doesn't really matter. I thought,
Right.
well, I can in smaller companies. So actually, I bought my own, um, grew it fourfold within a year at time. Thought that was successful, but made a lot of mistakes and nearly drove it into the ground because I made the mistake of doing everything myself.
Oh, yeah.
And then I
Common
realized,
mistake though with people.
come again?
Common mistake with business
Uh,
owners.
we see that with a lot of the clients that we serve now, and what I hadn't picked up on is that there's extra challenges as a small business owner, and a lot of it revolves around who you are and how you do things, much more than in a large corporate.
Sure.
Um, then, but still, wasn't quite fulfilled. I realized I needed to work on myself. Decided to do a coaching course. And to this beautiful woman, I met Anya. So 2 weeks later, after having met her, I told her I loved her. Uh,
Aw, that's beautiful.
divorced,
Very romantic
divorced my wife, and
and
then
very crazy.
very crazy we were.
Love
Anya,
doesn't make sense sometimes.
no.
I've got my own story, so that's all I have to say.
No, and then everything literally went south. My health was really really bad. I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer,
Oh no.
with a serious heart condition in a week. I had twice open heart surgery. Made it through chemo, and then in my last surgery, I literally died on the
Mm.
operating table. Completely dead for 10 minutes,
Wow,
and
that's
that,
scary. That had
yeah,
to
and
be
that's what
rough.
sort of the when the message hits home. You think, okay, with everything that I've achieved financially, how does that help the
Yeah.
family? What am I leaving behind? And that was really the biggest moment of insight. There's more than just being successful money wise, but working on your health, because literally you only live once. There was
Yeah.
no white light at the end of the tunnel, sorry to say. Um, and we had two younger children together who would probably have grown up without even remembering their father.
Wow.
Then the Ania's story, but she'll tell you in a second, was totally different. But what we realized, we both complement each other, because where I'm very much business focused and driven, Anya's more about balance, health, being very mindful of relationships. And that's where we decided to join forces, because we both were working with clients individually who were business owners struggling with the same things. So, well, we've made the mistakes, we've learned from it.
Sure.
We've also figured out how to do that more successfully together over the years.
Yeah.
Here's us giving back.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack there. And bless your heart for, I mean, it's hard when your partner has health problems. I've been through that. Unfortunately, my late husband did not make it. And that's very hard because you feel powerless, and you're just doing the best you can to be there for that person and just trying to help keep things like afloat. It's very difficult. But I
Yeah,
love that. Go ahead.
that I was just going to say that like the context of when Dion was really sick was really dramatic as well, because I was, I think, 8 months pregnant with
Oh,
our first
wow.
child at the time. I was in a new country, so I'd only been there 1 year at that point. So I didn't have a network, I didn't have any family, I didn't
Oh,
have a support system. Dion's two daughters from his previous marriage were both teenagers at the time.
oh my
You go
goodness.
through the crazy hormonal changes that
Yeah.
teenagers go through. It was pretty nuts,
Yeah,
actually.
I can imagine.
But what one of the things I think that stands out for me was the strength of our relationship and the fact that we made such a strong commitment with it, and we're on the same page the whole time. And I think, after 11 years, we're as much in love now as in fact, I think would say we're more in love now than we were when we first started, and we're working together. And that
Yeah.
is by design and by choice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I don't think a lot of couples could say that because, I think they forget or they forget how to stay on the same page with each other and communicating and making the effort to compromise so that they are staying on the same page because people can go off in their own directions. And I think that's what causes the disconnect. But I want to go back to you talking about your health and you've had all this financial success. And your motto says achieving wealth beyond money. And I think that we're so programmed and we're like told there's labels around what wealth is supposed to look like, that it's all only supposed to be monetary, right? And at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, you really have nothing. You can have all the money in the world, but if you can't enjoy that and live day to day and be with your family, love your partner, have your kids, it means nothing. And so like a form of wealth is having that health and vitality and being able to enjoy everything you've worked for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and if you even look at some of the psychological models like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the very foundation of that is having your very basic needs met, and
Yeah.
having good health is one of those.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when you start working with your clients, is that a real hard mindset to shift? Because I feel like entrepreneurs, if you're working with entrepreneurs or small business owners, they have this idea of what it looks like, and maybe they're struggling, right? And so they can't really align like, okay, I'm not making money, so I'm not wealthy, but they're super healthy and they've got a successful marriage, kids, whatever, and they're so frustrated and they're probably breaking down these relationships over here because their idea of wealth is so different than what it really should be.
Yeah. And that's a discussion that we have with them. And generally they come in because they don't see the financial return in their business compared to the effort that they put in. They probably realize the impact on their health. They're constantly tired or otherwise they notice it. They won't, I've rarely come across somebody who opens the discussion with my business is ruining my marriage. But when you bring it up, there are aspects of it, yes. And
Oh
then
yeah.
so we want them to not only understand what's wrong, but also what is there already to appreciate and what is truly important to you.
Yeah.
Uh, and then how do we find the right balance? Because whoever you work with or whatever approach you take, there's still only 168 hours in a week. And you have
Yeah.
that amount of time to basically make build a happy life. Now,
Right.
where do you spend your time?
So do you think when they get in alignment with where their happiness lies, that helps with the growth and the success of their business?
It's you would be surprised at how many people, if you challenge, if you ask them what's your goal, they'll throw out something really easy. And if you challenge them why that is important, it often goes silent, or you get sort of the socially desirable answer. But if you dig a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
it's actually about something else.
Yeah, I can imagine. I find that, a lot of people that are in business, they kind of like want to avoid that deeper stuff. Like they just want to look at the surface.
Well, a lot of people work so hard to avoid thinking about the other stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One thing I had to realize, I had to learn as a business owner, what's different compared to working in corporate. As a business owner, everybody is looking at you for all the answers to make everything that's wrong right, to be the calm in the storm, and the one that carries everybody.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure.
You
Uh,
said something earlier about you were running you got your own business and you're running it to the ground because you're doing everything yourself. Now, how important is it when you start working with one of your clients to you're seeing that something that's going on and they need to delegate and be able to trust finding someone else to that has the strength to handle some of those things.
Mhm.
But how do you bring that up and how do you help them change that mindset and to understand that that's going to actually complement their business and they can stop micromanaging, so to speak?
Yeah, the way the discussion often unfolds is that they're not they'll say that they're so consumed in the day-to-day of their business they don't get around to doing the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. What is all so time consuming? And we look at the things that they do, and from experience, we have a view on what they should be doing as a business owner. And if you
Okay.
contrast the two, you have the discussion. So, which of these tasks are actually worthy of your time? And one of my favorite examples is I work with a client who saw it as his duty to approve about 100 invoices per week for payment.
Why would he
And
have to do that? No accounting? Like that seems
yeah,
like a
he
waste of
had an
his time.
assistant, but you know how this then goes. He was used to doing this from when he was growing the business and there was hardly any money and had to manage cash flow. He just continued to do that, not realizing, and I took him through that 93 out of those, or 97, forgot the number, were actually standard invoices
Hmm.
that they got every month for the lease cars and for the rent, which without his eyes closed, you could have somebody else do this without any mistake.
Right. Yeah.
So, and there's many more of those examples where I call it delegating upwards. People, business owners, accept that their staff comes back and say, "Oh, I don't know how to do this. I can't solve this, or can't take a decision."
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, if you think about what that costs them per, like if you break it down to hourly rate, that it's not worth their time, right? It's almost a loss if you're going to be focused on those mundane, lighter activities where you can delegate that to someone who costs much less per hour.
and probably does it even better than you do, enjoys it more than you.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
and they have to realize that they are their most expensive employee, and they're also the employee that has the biggest return on the business. Because if
Yeah.
they can repurpose that time on actually growing their business,
Yeah.
the business grows much faster.
Yeah, I would agree. So how do you guys work as a team? What does this look like? So, I have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen, a lot of coaches, big coaches that have large coaching businesses. What does it look like if someone's like, you know what, I'm struggling, I need some help. I've heard Anya and Dion on Label Free. And so when they reach out to you, like how do you guys like tag team that call? I'm just curious because I would love it.
But we
Are you going to let me speak now?
I'm considering it.
There
Normally,
you
it's the
go.
other way in this relationship. This is like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sorry, not
I
Uh,
love it.
what we do is we first need to understand what their situation is, right? And I think
Yeah,
any coach would do that.
sure.
And from that conversation, we get to see where the gaps are. A good coach will be able to hear what you're saying, but also what you're not saying, right?
Yeah,
What you're not talking about, what subjects you're avoiding, or trying to sidestep. So it all becomes very apparent as soon as we get on the first call with a client.
yeah,
Areas need to be focused on, and like you were saying earlier, sometimes they're resistant to do some of the let's say, mindset work.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of coaching even for them to see what impact that has on their business. There are other people who are very, very open to personal development work, and quite rightly so, because
Yeah.
we've seen clients grow their businesses 3, 4, 5 times in
Oh,
a short
wow.
space of time just by changing
Yeah.
how they show up and calming their nervous system and all the other wonderful work that we do.
Yeah. They're coachable. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
forget to be coachable, especially if they are in that leadership role. I think that some of that old school mindset is like, oh, I don't need to be told what to do. I don't need to work on this. I'm thinking that in today's world, people are a little bit more open to it, but that's it's an egotistical
There
old
is some
set
ego there.
mindset.
Yeah, and we are big on actually qualifying our clients. So whenever we engage in a sort of first
Okay.
engagement, it's for us to us to see, well, can we work together, and are you open to
Sure.
a more non-traditional? I come from a hardcore strategy background, so I know all the business stuff. Anya's area of expertise is like peak performance, mindset work,
Okay.
and we
Good.
believe to go hand in hand. But
Oh, yeah.
we work best with clients that are open to focusing on both, and they
Yeah.
realize that to work on both.
I can only imagine that the very best entrepreneurs in the world are open to coaching. Like
Oh,
you had
yeah.
a good anecdote of a video with Elon Musk, who is being interviewed by somebody walking. And what was the story? He got challenged.
Yeah, as a journalist, and you ask him questions, and he politely answers the questions. And as he's answering one question, you see he's starting to think, and he slows down his answer, and he stops and he says, "You're right." And he turns around, walks back into the factory, and he says, "We've been approaching this the wrong way the whole time." Now, the journalist wasn't a rocket scientist, but
Right.
just asking
The right
the right
questions.
question,
Yeah. Yeah.
that started a process with him, and that's what we're trying to do with these
Yeah.
people, help them find their own answers, and spark, be the spark for new ideas to grow.
Yeah, and it's a way of accessing your full brilliance.
Absolutely. I was going to say high intelligence, right? Higher
Yeah.
intelligence, like someone who is able to be questioned and allow that light bulb to go off shows like they've got like that ability to be a little bit more logical and open to allowing themselves to find the answer. And just like I think that's just an example of higher intelligence personally. Don't take me for that's my own opinion. So you could be very, very, very smart. And so don't take it the wrong way, anybody that's listening.
Well,
Um,
even really smart academic people, if they won't allow themselves to be coached, they're limiting themselves.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's almost like someone who's like too smart, right? Where they are very analytical and only can see like to a certain point. They can't see past like the book edges, right? You see only the book and that's it. Anything past that, the words fall off the page, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so now, what are the requirements of businesses that you typically like to work with that has been successful for you?
So I'd say coachable, share our view of the world, that wealth is more than just about earning money. So we're not doing this with people that just have financial goals. That's not us.
Okay.
And they need to have a small business already. And so
Okay.
starting at like 5 to 10 people up to 155,
Oh, wow. Okay.
our sweet spot is
Yeah,
because businesses go through different stages in their life cycle, and every life cycle has a different their own particular challenges.
for sure. Yeah. Now, in terms of like industry, do you have like specific industries that you work with better than others? Because they can all be different. They all have their different challenges.
Yeah, no, it's what we've come to realize. It's actually more about who they are
Okay.
than what line of business they are. And we've worked from personal development to entertainment to marketing
Oh,
companies. We had somebody who worked in the adult industry. Uh,
interesting. Oh, okay. You had to learn some things there. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know.
well, the excuse that we have is we're here to ask questions, so we ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, can
Really.
you take us through like a success story of one of your clients, maybe one recent in the past, no actual like details for confidentiality purposes, but what they came to you about, like what was their concern? Obviously making more money, everybody's concerned, but like what they said and then what that looked like throughout the process and what opened them up to becoming, more successful in terms of wealth across all those different pillars in life that we all want to be wealthy in.
Now we have to choose one.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know.
So one client um, that we're working with, actually, I think you worked with him before, and you suggested because to have a discussion with me because one of the topics was purely business.
Okay.
Uh, I challenged him on certain things, and I warned him, like, if this is your business model, if this is your like how you earn your money, you've got to be careful to make sure you don't run out of cash.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, 6 weeks later, he got a call. You were right. So we worked on cash management, and he wanted to
Mm,
expand. We challenged for the warehouse. He didn't need a new warehouse because he had loads of obsolete material. But he learned how to delegate different tasks to different people
okay.
in his organization and work through working with you, how to trust them, because obviously there's an element of losing control when you do that.
Micromanagement.
Yeah, and we did a lot of work on his health as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Increased his
Yeah.
energy and
But it went from like a dozen people in a one location, largely working from home with his shed to store the goods, to actually becoming the country's, or actually maybe the region's larger online retailer for that particular product, and now
Wow.
looking into his own manufacturing facilities. So it went from the kitchen table to I've got an organization with 50 people now. Very clever business model and how to develop his products
Yeah,
in a risk-free way. And now realizing, oh, the manufacturer takes a cut of what I am selling
sure.
if I do my own manufacturing. So it's from literally thinking bigger and what do you need to let go of and
Yeah.
organize for that to be possible.
That's amazing. So how long do you still talk to this client? Or he off and running? You got him set up, he's good. Gave
no,
you the tools.
we we develop such close relationships with our clients that we tend to have very long-standing relationships
Yeah.
with them. And not that they have to work with us the whole
Sure.
time, but we really care about who we work
Yeah.
with. And
We've
Yeah.
been to invited to weddings, to company
Oh,
celebrations years after. It's
that speaks volumes of how you guys are as a team and taking care of your clients, the relationship still matters there and you want them to be successful. So that's a beautiful compliment.
yeah,
I think it also shows that we walk our talk. Part of what we
Yeah.
believe in is in relationships, the relationships within the business, relationships the business owner has personally with a spouse, with his or her kids, the relationships we have with them.
Yeah.
And also, all the studies show that people who live in communities live longer.
Yeah.
So it it's so important
I saw
to
that
honor.
special on Netflix. It's important to have a community.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
totally.
It is. And so we become part of the community of these business owners.
Yeah, I love it. Do you guys ever do masterminds with the business owners that you've helped and help them grow their success?
It's actually something which is in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I would think that. So, just out of curiosity, when you started working with that client that went from kitchen table to manufacturing, how much did his business grow? It had to be huge.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have the numbers here,
Yeah.
but if I wouldn't be, I can easily to commit to 20, 30 times the
Wow.
rev.
That's
Yeah.
huge. And so if you could get your top like 5 to 10 business owners that you've worked with, that you've created that kind of success within your coaching together, the dynamic duo, oh my gosh, the amount of value that each one of them brings to the table with you guys would be huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking about a mastermind.
Yeah.
So from experience, there's value in being able to talk with peers. And that's another thing they're often missing. We experience that ourselves. as well that it's really difficult to find the right peer group because your
Mm,
life is so much different from what most other people around you
yeah,
experience, worry about, or go through.
yeah,
And it elevates the level of thinking
Yeah.
and the discussions.
yeah.
Yeah, because often we find that entrepreneurs, and I don't know how it is in the US, because I think the mindset is much more perhaps entrepreneurial. I'm making an assumption there, but a lot of these entrepreneurs have outgrown their peer groups multiple
Oh
fold, and they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have the right people around them anymore.
Yeah, that's why net for us here in the U.S. Yeah, entrepreneurship, business owners are a big part of our economy, right? So networking here is a very common thing where there's large networking groups. I'm a member to one, and you just go and you meet. And there's very few. I mean, there's some like corporate people, but it's mostly, entrepreneurs, business owners that are going to these networking events to meet a resource, connect with maybe a potential client, and so that like that's huge here, especially well all over, but here in the Chicagoland area that we do. I'm a part of. I love it. I love network, but that's how you meet. You never know who you're going to meet, and so that's why I'm thinking like for you guys, wherever your clients are located, doing like a mastermind is almost like a mini networking group for you
Yeah.
guys, like bringing all your top people together that you've worked with and sharing that information. You could even probably create a course from it, like pull off shoot it through a chat GPT or something and pull out the pertinent information and ask it to create a course around all that information. That would be good.
Note to self.
There you go. All right, giving you some ideas. Well, we're starting to get close here on time. So real quick, if someone's listening to this or watching, if you guys are watching, what is the process if they are interested in learning a little bit more working with you two, the dynamic duo? Power couple, hashtag power couple.
There you go. So they book a call with us, reach out to us on
Okay.
our website. We've got a format so you can contact us, and we'll schedule a call just to get to know each other, to see
Okay.
what their challenges are, what their ambitions are. We both get a feel for one another, whether we feel comfortable working together, that they think we can be of value, that where we believe that we can deliver
Okay.
on the
And you're both
promise.
on the call?
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
always.
All right.
And then
Very good.
there's, depending on the type of problem, we can either do one-to-one coaching. We have a group coaching program where we're working on the mastermind, we're working on
Yeah.
retreats, and we have a flagship program where we take them through what we've come to learn is a successful way to make the change to get out of the sort of the hustle and the rat race.
Awesome. And then how long is that call typically?
About an hour.
Okay, so not too bad. Anybody
No,
can
no,
commit to an hour. They're looking to grow their business. You got an hour, okay? You got an hour.
exactly. If the problem is big enough, they can afford the hour.
That's right, exactly. And so with all that being said, what can you let us know? The website they can visit, any social media, where would you like people to go to support you, learn more, and schedule that call?
Yes, so the website is holisticwealth.company.
Okay.
The one H is we spell holistic starting with a W and not just with
Oh,
the H.
I like
Like the
that.
whole.
Like because we look
Yes,
at the person,
I like
uh,
that.
and that is probably we have an Instagram channel. We have a small presence on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so they can connect with us personally on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Do we share those on the
You can
notes?
tell me the LinkedIn. Go ahead, tell it to me, and then I'm also going to put it on the screen here for people that are watching. But if you're listening, don't forget to jot this down and go to LinkedIn and enter in their handles. So what would those be?
Yeah, so mine is Ania Hulsman, so that's spelled Ania,
Okay,
Hulsman, Hulsman.
perfect.
And your Dion Renee
Yeah,
Hulsman.
Dion-Rene Holzman.
Excellent. All right, you guys, I'm gonna put those links in the show notes. So if you connected with Anya and Dion, please don't hesitate to click the links, follow them on social. And if you're interested in elevating your business and you're finding some roadblocks, schedule a call. You have an hour of time to change the trajectory of your business and what your wealth looks like. I don't know if you both want to take this or if you guys are one of you is going to take it, but this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What are you or both of you going to leave with us today?
Wisdom is you, I guess.
I'm the wise one between the two of us.
Smart man. Happy wife, happy life. That's right. I try to remind my husband of that daily.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what we stand for. If you have all parts of your life in balance,
Yeah.
you are going to thrive. And if you are neglecting any part of your life, you're going to be crippled by that part. It will pull you down and it will hold you back.
Yeah, amen to that. So true. It's so, when we're sitting here talking about it, it's so simple for us because we've lived it, we've learned it, and we're living and breathing it, right? But for some people that are stuck or on that, like just stuck around that struggle bus, they can't fathom what that looks like. And it actually is just so simple. They just have to be open and willing to embrace that
That's it.
change and that guidance for them to get to that next level in their life. So beautiful.
It doesn't have to be that way.
No,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Amen to that, man. I wish I could drill that into some people's heads and they wouldn't keep repeating the same pattern over and over and over again. It's like, stop, man. It's insanity to me.
But and if you're repeating the same pattern over and over again, get some external help. Don't try and fix it by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. All right, you guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today, sharing your expertise and your wisdom and your guidance for people that are needing to redefine what wealth looks like for them and to achieve that ultimate level of success that we all look for. So we appreciate you guys and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks so
You're
much for having
welcome.
us.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.